Hello and welcome to the introduction to the Chiropractic Toolkit's ChiroTouch macros. I want to start by saying thank you for taking the time to look at these macros, and I look forward to helping you along the way as you redefine your practice with ChiroTouch. As you'll see, these macros are the fuel to take your ChiroTouch software to a whole new level of documentation and compliance. We've created a series of training videos to make the learning process as quick as possible so that you can take full advantage of the possibilities that ChiroTouch and these macros have to offer. If you have any questions throughout your evaluation and training of these macros, please feel free to contact us at info@ChiroToolkit.com or at www.ChiroToolkit.com. Before we begin, I want to give you a little background into the making of these macros to give you confidence that they're well thought out and practical for use in any chiropractic office, whether you're a high volume, cash practice, or an insurance heavy practice bound by strict treatment plan and medical necessity guidelines. These macros have been in development since 2008 and have been continually tweaked and perfected after literally thousands of real-life patient encounters to be able to document in real time with the patient. These macros are the culmination of 20 years of learning from well-established practice management companies as well as several of the profession's top coding and insurance auditors. The notes produced from these macros are audit-proof and have been referred to as being in the top 5% of all chiropractic notes. They're fully updated for ICD-10. Be sure to view the sample notes produced from these macros, which are available online at ChiroToolkit.com. I'm confident that these macros are about 90% ready to go for most chiropractors, since I would assume the consultation, exam, assessment, and plan sections will be relatively universal for everyone, regardless of adjusting technique or practice style. Especially those doctors that utilize insurance for any type of reimbursement, whether in-network or out-of-network, since the guidelines are very specific for documented medical necessity. These macros help you document to the highest standards, which currently are Medicare and personal injury. So whether the patient is general insurance, Medicare, personal injury, or cash, it doesn't matter. I come from the school of thought that any patient can sue you, so you better have good notes. So it's best to document to the highest standards for everyone. The key, however, is making the system efficient enough so that it doesn't take a lot of time. And that's where these macros excel. One unique feature of these macros is that we separated out the treatment section of the macros for easy customization to your individual practice style. So instead of the traditional SOAP note format, these macros are formatted into a SOTAP, or Subjective Objective Treatment Assessment Plan format, so that the treatment section is all by itself. Currently, the chiropractic adjustment portion of the treatment section is more of a hands-on Godstead type oriented. However, it would be very easy to create different adjusting techniques to replace this section. And if you need help with that, just contact us and we'll guide you along doing that. If you haven't done so already, again, please look over the sample notes produced on our the sample notes provided produced from these macros provided on our website to see just how detailed and thorough they are. Now, you may think after looking at them that they took a long time to create because of how thorough and how specific they are, but you'll see that they really didn't. The typical documenting times are as follows, but documenting routine office visits should take you about 30 to 60 seconds at the most, and they can easily be done when you're with the patient. The longest office visit is, of course, the initial office visit, which you document the consultation exam. That visit is the most important and exhaustive because it sets the stage for the entire treatment plan after. And it takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to create that entire note, which includes reviewing the health history and inputting the diagnosis section and treatment plan of ChiroTouch. So in other words, getting everything you need to get that patient ready for the second visit. These macros are so systematic that you can easily train staff members to input the initial note for you while you're with the patient. The second visit, which includes the report of findings, treatment plan, and initial treatment, take no more than 2 minutes to create. Re-examination visits take about 2 to 5 minutes at most, and that includes changing the diagnosis, updating the treatment plan, and inputting progress notes. The last typical visit type would be the maintenance visit, which takes about 10 seconds to create. We've also included or created a series of training videos that will show you how to document all types of patient encounters. We'll start with a general overview and layout to get you familiar with these macros. Then we'll get into mastering the documentation of the first and second office visit, which will cover, again, the consultation, the exam, x-rays, treatment plan, and report of findings. The remaining training videos will cover proper documentation of the routine office visit, the re-exam, treatment, outcome assessments, orthotic evaluation, exacerbations, missed appointments, lack of compliance issues, therapeutic withdrawal, release from active care, which would be a clinical summary, maintenance care, and of course Medicare requirements, and much more. Okay, now let's get into the introduction to the ChiroTouch macros by ChiroToolkit.com. And this will just be an overview and general layout and the thought process behind them. For those of you familiar with ChiroTouch, you've seen this home screen many times. And to get into the macro set, the chart notes, of course, you're going to click on this chart note button, which will bring up the macros. Make sure in the upper right hand corner that your set name is set to the ChiroToolkit.com macros, and then this screen should be your home screen for subjective. We have objective, assessment, and plan. Now the overall first thing I want you to pay attention to is we do have some blank screens. So if there's something unique to your particular practice style or note-taking that you need to add, there's room for you to do that on each of the home screens. So we didn't use up all the buttons. We left some blank for you. The other thing you'll notice, which of course for those of you familiar with ChiroTouch, this is old news for you, but those that are just learning it, you see two colored buttons. The blue buttons are, of course, when you click on that, it sets you right into a macro set questions that you'll answer. And then when you click on a red button, of course, that opens up a menu, which is other things to pick from. So that differentiates the red and blue. The general layout. So this is the what makes these macros so efficient and systematic that you'll be able to learn really quick how to document and how to fly through them. So there's three main sections I want you to pay attention to. The first one would be in this upper left hand corner. This is on each of the home screens is going to be your routine office visit. So on the objective, you see wherever you see the ROV, of course, that stands for routine office visit. That's anything outside of, consultations, exams, re-examinations, therapeutic withdrawal visits, that sort of thing. So routine office visits, look to this upper left-hand corner. The upper right-hand corner are the major events. So those things like first visit, consultations, you have examinations, you have assessments and x-rays, and of course report of findings, treatment plan. So anything major that you need to document is going to be in this upper right hand corner. The last major section of each home screen is going to be the bottom right hand corner, and that pertains to maintenance, which of course is anything outside of the insurance realm. So routine maintenance visits will be in this bottom right hand section. So let's dive into a little bit of overview of the specifics of each major section. So let's start up here. So the first visit, obviously, I'm sure you'll do consultation, examination. You'll do get ready for the treatment plan and ready for the second visit, which for I think a lot of docs will be the start of the treatment at that particular visit. So consultations, when you open that up, we have it divided into different case types: new patient, auto accident, work injury, personal injury, pediatric. If you have a telephone consult, there's other items I can dive into at a later time. But for most patients, we'll fall into the new patient consultation. And again, you'll notice the very systematic structure of these macros. I wanted to make sure that you can document every point that qualifies for particular levels of E&M coding. For instance, the 99201, 203, and 204, for instance, they have very specific criteria to meet in order to build those levels. So the way these are set up is you don't miss anything. So on a later video, which is titled First Visit, Consultation, Examination, I'll get into very specific detail of how to document those first couple visits. But just for overview, let me give you one highlight of these particular macros. As you all know, ICD-10 came out, and there's very detailed diagnoses that correlate with diagnoses. So I wanted to make sure that as you document, it can input those notes automatically. So instead of just general complaints, I broke it up to very specific complaints. So let's say the patient has lower back pain that's radiating down the back of the leg. There's a specific button for each of these particular criteria. So let's say radiation, L5S1 disc, bulging. So the way ChiroTouch has it set up is you can assign a particular diagnosis to this code. And what we did is go ahead and include all the ICD-10 codes into all these different complaint sections. So that was lower back. If we get into neck, you'll see each button has its own ICD-10 diagnosis code that will input automatically as you document that particular case type. So let's say that again the patient has lower back pain radiating into the back of the left leg. So just to give you a quick example, when you document the consultation, you'll click on this particular button. Let's say it's primary. Intensity level moderate to severe. Let's say it's going radiating into the back of the leg, and they rate it at a 7. How long has it been at its worst? It's been at its worst the last 3 weeks. It's been there overall for about a year. And what brought it on? Let's say they really don't know, kind of an insidious onset. What hurts it? Maybe arising from seated, and also, of course, probably sitting. What relieves it? Let's say laying down. And there you go. So that just put in that particular dialogue for that complaint. Now when I click save, this is the beauty of these macros. See, it's going to import that particular macro that matches your documentation. So that's one component of these macros that makes this audit proof. So now you know your diagnosis matches up with what you actually documented. So let's dive back into the macros and get into some other highlights. Examinations, again, is it adult, child, extremity? So again, very structured. Now these are going to be able to meet the bullet points. So when we get into the E&M codes, it depends on what components you document as far as what's called the bullet point to match your documentation. So 12 bullet points or more will get you the 99203 category. So the way these macros are set up are to be able to document specific bullet points. So make sure you watch the detailed video on visit 1, the consultation and examination, to see exactly how to document, to make sure you cover all of your bullet points to match the particular code that you're going to bill. So just to give you an overview on this, again, it's going to be very structured, box to box to box, cover as much or as little as you like, and we'll get into very specifics on that. Major section assessment, dive into that. Another feature of these macros is broken up into non-Medicare and Medicare. As you know, with Medicare, we have those junk codes that we need to post to Medicare or document. The penny codes are called. So you can assign with ChiroTouch which procedure codes you want to import automatically. So the reason I broke it up into Medicare and non-Medicare is so you can automatically have it import those procedure codes. And then report of findings as a last part of the major events section, and all these boxes are broken up into day 1 and day 2. Okay, so getting into the final section that I want to point out would be the maintenance section, which patients come in just for routine maintenance. We're going to get into are they more asymptomatic, just a wellness checkup, or do they have symptoms? Okay, and I'll get into details of how to document these at a later video. Maintenance objective, again, I broke it up to Medicare and non-Medicare in case you like to put different codes. Maybe use the S code for S8990 for non-Medicare. Maybe use the 98940 with the GA modifier for Medicare. So you can assign different procedure codes however you like to do it. Okay, Medicare or maintenance assessment, maintenance plan. So there you there you have it for the introduction, the general layout. Again, I want to thank you for your interest in these macros, and I trust they'll help you take your ChiroTouch experience to a whole new level and be confident that your notes will hold up to any audit so you can sleep good at night, knowing that a post-payment audit hopefully won't be an issue for you. Not with proper documentation. So again, please review the sample notes and watch the other training videos to learn the specifics of each topic as I just discussed. And again, feel free to send us questions, comments, any feedback that you think will help make these macros better. We're always looking to improve, so send us a note. If you need help with a particular treatment section, help us or let us know that too. Once you purchase these macros, you're going to get free updates whenever you wish. You send us a link, we'll send out notices when there's something major that's changed, or just get in contact with us and we'll get you the latest update. So I thank you for your time and wish you much success in your practice.